Hello and welcome to the Tower of God video. Today we'll be talking about the new buffs that they had for the older characters. About time. Okay, Urek was in need for the characters, but okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. They got Data Urek is one of the characters they had changes to. Khun Asensio, my king, my goat, my goat. I love this character. Khun Edhan and Karak, right? So let's look at the details and I'll let you know if they're good or not. But I'm actually really glad, even if the buffs are a little bit small, I do enjoy the fact that they're making older units more relevant because some of these units were really out of date, right? And at least it makes it worthwhile to summon on a unit that gets a buff later on in the future, by keeping them relevant so that you don't feel like you're wasting your resources on a unit that doesn't matter. But either way, Data Urek was the one out of everybody out of this list that needed the most amount of buffs because this guy was trash even when he first came out because he wouldn't tank. he wouldn't tank, right? I think it was the first time trying to do an experimental tank that wasn't just purely on defensive stats, and they didn't do a really good job in my opinion. But let's look at his details, right? So Data Urek decreases attack from enemy area by 80%. 80% is really good. Decrease it to a 90 now. And they basically they increase the defense with the barrier too. So the barrier also increases the defense. And then also when the barrier is destroyed, barrier 50% is decreased. Is created for 10 seconds and recovers 30% of his HP. So basically, the barrier of the defense instead of being 600 is 300, right? Instead of like the defense, right? Like they're just half the barrier stats. But in return, they give you a heal, right? Which is pretty good. That makes his survivability a lot better, especially considering the fact that you'll probably. This is one of the few characters where I think the Seller set might be better than the Barrier set on him because he has so much defense. The defense and the resistances put together will make him a lot more tanky than people think, in my opinion. He'll just be annoying in Adventure. He's already annoying in Adventure. He'll be even more annoying in Adventure. But essentially, that will be the whole thing with him, and that right. And then the second skill. Again, the cooldown is additional 1.5 seconds instead of 0.5 seconds. Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, 0.5 seconds was a joke. That was a joke. It was way too small, right? So whenever he gets hit by physical damage, he gets his cooldown decreased. It's a shame they didn't make it physical and magical damage because now you're just like he's still a little bit situational where you don't want to really put him against units that have a lot of like magical attacks. So like if you're fighting against White, you wouldn't put him in it, right? Things like that, right? But at least he recovers energy, which is very good. And then also his increase of 200% of defense is increased at the beginning of the battle too, which is really strong. And once the battle begins, the activation of defense increase is decreased by 8 seconds out of the start of battle. Okay, so basically it's very quick for him to activate his defense increase. This one, it's very quick to get it. And then enhance of the buff cannot be removed and cannot be removed. So he will always be tanky essentially, right? So he's before you'll put the Bari set on him, right? And he'll be like, what? Like he can survive now. But now I think the Salad set might be really good on him because, like I said before, with the resistances. Overall, he needed the most buffs, and he did get a large amount of buffs. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure if he'll be meta relevant ever, but at least he's like usable now. Like you can actually use his character without feeling badly summoned for him, right? He's okay. He's okay, right? Anyways, Asensio's my go. He's the character that I really, really wanted to get the most buffs off. Asensio. I'm very biased with this character. I love this character. Anyways, before the skill just made him invincible for 2 seconds, but now it also makes him invincible for I'm talking about like the revolution. It makes me invincible for 2 seconds, and then also the physical pace increased by 40 seconds is also pretty strong. Physical paper for 40 seconds is good because he's a physical character also, and I think they want you to use the Alokesia set. So the Alokesia set Pierce with this Pierce also might be very, very strong. And then the second skill, which is his passive, each time the revolution was each time the flying fish lands on the enemy tag, it's increased by 2%. That's a joke. That was actually a joke. Like genuinely, that was a joke because 2% is nothing. Okay, the fish bounces off the wall, and it doesn't target an enemy. So there's lots of times during the battle where the fish will only hit the enemy like a couple times, right? And you only gain increase 2%. Now they made it 4%, so technically the attack damage is doubled, but I don't really think that's going to be a large impact on his damage. The problem with Asensio before was that he would just die instantly, right? Because his invincibility, like his little flying fish, that gives him all this invincibility, and his whole mechanic is based on his ult. But most characters don't ult immediately unless if you're Yuri. So, unless if you're Yuri, it takes a couple seconds for you to be invincible, which is why data match is better than Khun Asensio, off that regard, right? I think that his buffs are like pretty mid. Like 40% increase is really nice, I guess. At least he'll do a little bit more damage, because even if he did survive back in the day, he still wouldn't do a lot of damage. So he'll be on. He'll just be a wasted of. He'll just be a tank basically that does like no damage, right? He doesn't even have provoke, so he was like a pseudo tank. But at least now he does a little bit more damage. But I don't think that his buffs were really that good. Anyways, this is the character that I think everybody cares about the most, Khun Edhan, because a lot of people have him rainbowed. He's a very strong unit. He was meta since he came out, and even to this day, he is such a valuable unit. So let's look at his buffs. Before tier 4, he becomes invincible when teleporting using the lightning strike, and then now he steals 400 energy. That's the only thing that changed off this move, because I mean, being invincible doing this move is very strong, but this just tells me, okay, this game is literally begging on its knees, like crying for you to use the Mago set on him, bro. They're trying so hard. They're like, please, please use Mago on me, please, please. That's what this is. Yeah, especially with the HP percentage damage with the crit damage increase. If you have a full crit set on him, and then you have the percentage, he will do a stupid amount of damage. Is essentially what they're trying to aim with this character, is to be a damage dealing machine. Okay, and then the second passive before, the magic resistances was 80%. Now it is same thing with the 80%, but he also decreases the energy by 100, and also decreases the accuracy by 25%. Okay, so that's okay. Reducing accuracy is pretty good. I think that kind of works well with assassins. No, I feel like you can probably like do some really funky stuff with it too. I was gonna say put it with the new Hugo character, but Hugo is mostly physical. Is a physical unit, right? So the reducing magical resistance doesn't really apply to Hugo. So, but I think reducing the accuracy was pretty good. Also, keep in mind that this character will always be so good because he bounces projectiles anyways, right? The reducing accuracy is pretty good. I don't think it's like crazy, but if it makes your character survive longer, that's great. And magical resistance just means that he'll do a lot more damage. So at least he's basically the same. He just decreases energy, and that is telling you, okay, so we made it so that you can use the Mago set on him. That's the rework. The rework is you can use the Mago set on him, basically. I mean, just like cool. I'll try it out and see how it goes. But I think that's really it with him, right? I'm assuming he'll do a lot more damage. I think they're trying to make him more of a damage dealing unit, whereas they're gonna try and make Karak more of a utility based unit, right? And but yes. Anyways, little spoiler alert. Karak is the last one. Karak is one of those units that I think I really appreciate his value to the team much later, because at first I was like, I don't need Karaka, but now that I have Karaka at like Rainbow 2, I don't have him fully Rainbow, but even at Rainbow an Orange 4 and earlier and Red 3, he has a lot of value because he's basically just a tank. Karaka is just a provoke tank. He just sits there, eats up all the damage, and then by then you pray that like he killed all the enemy, and also he also debuffs enemy a little bit too, right? Anyways, Revolution for tier 4, Rain of Darkness pulls the enemy nearby before firing like this skill, right? But now purple resistance of enemy provoked by rain decreased by 60% for 5 seconds, 50 seconds. That's pretty good too, because he had this thing. He basically is the same treatment with the Ivan Kel, but instead of the red element, it is purple element, making him much more of a viable option. Obviously limited to purple, but if I'm being honest with you, you kind of put Karaka in purple team anyways, so it doesn't really like change anything, right? And then also decreases, and and damage taken by 90% while creating dark orbs and pull. That just makes him like pretty much unkillable when this movie's up. Basically, he's basically invincible, but not really invincible, right? It's really really strong. This makes him a better tank, right? Cracker recovers HP by 20% each time you're using Steel Tree. When not using Steel Tree, defense increases by 300%. This buff cannot be removed by buff removal skills. Cracker removes all debuff from himself when Steel Tree activates and recovers 20% of HP while using Steel Tree. Basically, he's a better tank, which is really good. You know, honestly, I think out of all the units, if you have all these units rainbowed, I think you will be using Karak the most, much more, right? Because the only tank that we really have off of purple is what's his name, Mad Dog. Is Mad Dog, and Mad Dog is pretty good, but like he you know, he could be better. But with Karaka there instead, you'll have Karaka, and you'll probably have a white. You'll have Anna, and you'll have Reflejo. So like black, having a purple Karaka, the tank's arguably better than Mad Dog now. I'm not really sure if that's true or not, but I have to do some experiments. But generally, that's what like they're trying to aim for. Just makes purple better, because purple is in a dire need of an upgrade. So any upgrade we get for purple is good. If you have Cracker Rainbow, this will be a very good replacement for Mad Dog. And especially with the purple elemental resistance of the enemy, just means the white is going to just do way more damage, right? And with the provoke too, makes it easier for Urek to survive and Khun to survive. So like, you know, this is actually like, the more I think about this character, the more I think of his value towards purple team, and the more I really like his revolution. But yeah, that's basically all of it. If I could tell you the winners, I think I'm gonna do the winners versus who's the better character, right? So if I'm talking about the best character out of all of this, Khun is by far the best character out of these four, right? But his buff wasn't like the craziest. But I think that because he's such a strong character and so many people have him rainbowed, his value is really, really high regardless, because stealing 400 energy is very, very strong. And the more that I play the game, the more I'm realizing why this is the new meta, right? But then again, most people have Barry set on him, or they have the L set on him, but I think they're really trying to make use of Mago set, so I'll try it out. But this character overall, it has a very good, will be the most valuable, is the strongest out of the batch, right? The winner of the batch, I think, is Karaka, but not many people have him in Rainbow, and not many people have a Rainbow tank, so most people don't really care. But I think that his value to the purple team will be very strong. So there's that, and Asensio is the loser on this. No. And I don't really have Urek Rainbow, so I can't really give like my educated guess. But for me, I think that his buff makes him viable again. Like, you can actually use this character now, which is good. You can do, I think the Celltail will work really good on him. But yeah, then that's the video. And have a good one. Peace.